Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Meet the Collection. This is a snake I said I wasn't going to do until I could take her outside, and that, to be honest, this is the most nervous I've been with an animal in a while. Not because I'm afraid of her biting me, but because she's so damn fast, and this is the only snake that I've almost lost outside before because she took off so quickly, and me running full speed was everything to catch her. She actually got out yesterday when I cleaned her cage. I opened her cage up. She shot out by me so fast and got around me. By the time I grabbed her, she was about 10 feet away. Well, not quite 10 feet, let's say 7. And my bird cage was still set up. And she got into the bird cage. Thankfully, the bird's not in there anymore. She passed away a couple years ago, but it was hell on earth. So this is my female, adult female Australian water python. Also known as brown water python, although she's more of a black color. They do range from like a muddy brown to a really deep jet black. She's not jet like some of the ones that I've had in the past. I do believe she's a New Guinea locality. They do come in several localities. I believe there's a Northwest Territory. There's Queensland, which another one of my water pythons is a Queensland locality, but she, I believe, is New Guinea. I don't know for sure, but just based on behavior and certain aspects of who she came from originally, that's my guess. So without further ado, I'm going to take her out, and hopefully this video will go smooth. I'm going to try to put her up on that piece of bamboo there and hope that she'll stay perched, although she'll probably throw herself on the ground, at which time I may be running. It all depends. She hasn't been outside in a couple years, so she may stay fairly calm, or she may go, you know, buck wild. You never really know. Looking like buck wild is the more likely. Keep my hand on her here, use the hook so you guys can get a good look at her. Look at that bright belly. One of the things I really love about Australian water pythons, she actually looks pretty dull right now, so my guess is she's probably headed into a shed cycle. These guys are very proficient at coming up a hook very quickly, as you may see in a second here. I'm going to try to see if I can get her up into this plant. And if she'll stay up here. Oops. No, of course not. She's not necessarily a mean snake. She will get defensive from time to time, but she's just so damn flighty. You guys able to see her? Let me get in here for you. She's just an incredibly beautiful animal, but it is a pain in the ass to work with her. So I would definitely say if you're going to get one of these, get them from a breeder and talk to them. And be honest, if you're not up to par with a snake that's going to be as fast as they are. I'm fat and slow, and being a short tail guy primarily, it's quite a shock to me. She's a decent size. These snakes can get quite large. You know, 7 feet is not unheard of. She is probably, she's bigger than my spotted female, so I would say she's probably about 5.5 feet if I had to wager a guess. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, maybe about 5 and change. It's hard to tell because she's not a snake that's going to sit still and let me measure her. But like I said, she's such a beautiful, beautiful animal. Look at those eyes. Very intent, watching everything that I do. Supposedly, the pair that I have here was captive bred, but the guy that they originally came from is notorious for not being good in this industry. I did not buy them from him. I got him from somebody that got them directly from him themselves and had them for quite a while first, because I was even hesitant to purchase them knowing where they originally came from. But they've been, you know, pictures, model citizens as far as health goes. You know, you can see she's very alert, very healthy. She's got really nice body tone for what she is. She is a snake I would like to get into one of those cages. I don't have one available right now. There's an off chance that one of them is going to come available soon, because I may loan a snake out to someone for a while, you know, somewhat long term. So if that happens, I'll use that cage. Otherwise, at some point when some funds open up, I'd like to get one for her, because I think she's an animal that would do really well in that setting. And I think it would also be easier to me, to be honest, to get her in and out of that cage as opposed to, you know, a tub setup that she's in now, where she can just kind of shoot out and use the tub to bank turn, and it gets pretty rowdy. But she's such a cool animal. I'm hoping she'll breed for me this winter. 2 winters ago, the male and her paired up quite a few times. They were breeding a lot. I didn't get anything. Last year, with the exception of my olives, my spotted pythons and these guys didn't lock up at all that I saw. I didn't really cool them anywhere near enough to where they need to be to really properly cycle. So that probably had something to do with it. But I love these guys. They're one of my favorite species, and it stinks that she's so flighty. I had a female that was incredibly nice, and unfortunately, of course, as always happens, she passed away. Not really sure what happened, but you can see that they're very curious, they're very confident. Even though she's flighty, it's not so much that she's scared, she's just like, screw this, I'm out of here, and she's fast. But you can see I'm, you know, well, you can't tell because I'm behind the camera. The camera's about 7 inches in front of her face, and I'm about a foot behind the camera. So I'm very close. I'm well within her strike range if she wanted to come for me. But you can see she's got very confident tongue flicks. You know, she's not panicked. She's not herky-jerky. You know, she's moving very, very deliberately right now. Pull this plant down a little bit. Like you can see her better. But like I said, she's not making a move to go after me. And even when she does get flighty, she's never come back at me to try to bite me. She just wants to get the hell away from me. Out here, up in this, I think she's a little bit more content being up here. So she's not trying to be as flighty as she normally is. Plus, you know, snakes have this really incredible ability of making liars out of us. And so any opportunity that they get to make us look stupid, they usually do. Which I was kind of pushing my luck bringing her out here, saying, you know what, she's going to make me look stupid, and I'm good with that. But you saw initially when I went to take her out where she was ready to move pretty quickly, or at least I think you could see that on the camera. Hopefully you could. But she definitely catches me by surprise sometimes. She likes to lure me into a false sense of security where she just chills when I open the tub, and I think, okay, she's not going to do it today. And then all of a sudden, like 15 seconds later, it's on like Donkey Kong and she's like levitated across the room. It's kind of like keeping spiders where like they just teleport. She's like that. Like the way, I wish I had the camera on when I cleaned her yesterday, because the way she launched out of that cage, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, but by the time my brain processed that she was coming, she was already across the room. And I would say probably 3 times now she's gotten away from me and like up underneath the couch, or, you know, around a piece of furniture or caging, or inside the rack on another level. She's definitely made some maneuvers on me before where I was like, fuck my life, I gotta pick up the pace here because it's crazy. These are kind of, I guess you could say, poor man's white lip pythons. They're very, very similar in coloration, other than the fact that their bellies obviously are that bright yellow and white lips are white. And then obviously they're absent the white lip, and they have a different head shape. These guys have a much more liasis head shape, like your olive pythons or your McLott's pythons, things of that nature. So they're definitely different in that regard. Let me see if I can move around and get her face back in here for you. See if you can see her through the trees there. She's like, shit. This guy. She's definitely a snake that I enjoy, even though she gives me a run for my money. The male, he's a little more bipolar than she is. Once again, he's never tried to bite me. But sometimes he's really settled, and then other times he's flighty like she is. Lately, he's been flighty more than not. And there's snakes that I really don't spend a great deal of time handling just because they're so flighty that, you know, I figure if they wanted to chill with me, they would. And they want to go usually just about anywhere but like I said, I would love to get her into a setup where she's got a piece of bamboo or 2 in there, and she can come out and bask a little bit and see what kind of behavior she has. Because in spite of the flightiness, I do think she's a fairly confident animal. I've never really seen her be too nervous. And it's weird because we associate flighty behavior with them being nervous, but I just don't really see that with her very much. Where are you going? You trying to be out of here? Yeah, I think her flightiness is just more her desire to get away from me. Not in a fear sense, but I think she just kind of wants to do her own thing, and I'm just a stupid human. Because I feel like if I was making her that nervous, she would probably cock back and take a shot or two at me, and like I said, she never has. And as I say that, I'll probably go to grab her and get railroaded, because once again, like I said, they do like to make liars out of us. But yeah, I mean, she's a beautiful animal. What's not to like? Hopefully I got a good shot in the beginning of that belly, but like I said, it's pretty dull right now. And the sun's barely creeping through the trees over there, but there's like almost, you know, no iridescence here. You can see a little bit back there, but she's a very, very iridescent animal normally, comparable to the white lips for sure. But like I said, hopefully you guys have seen close-ups enough of her face to see that that's the major difference, other than the yellow to white. They do have a white chin. You're getting too close. But see, that's what I mean. Like, if she was nervous, she wouldn't be approaching like that. It's definitely different. Let's see if I can flip on the other side. I'll cut this short in a minute. I know my videos tend to run long and probably kill some of you guys, but I enjoy spending time out here, so I never really want to end them. I want to hang out more, observe more, see more behavior. You know, watching her approach like this and seeing her curiosity to the phone. Let me see if I can't change this up for a minute to where I can get kind of right up in her grill a little bit for you. Yeah, see, that to me is not a nervous animal. That's a curious animal. And she's decided, like, been there, done that. Let's check out what's over here now. You can see a little more that yellow there. They're absolutely gorgeous animals. And if you don't mind an animal that can be a little quick, you know, if you're a colubrid keeper or something like that, where you're more used to that, this is a really cool species. Although I will say some of them can be very defensive and absolute pricks. I've had pretty good luck with them. I've never really had one that was terrible. These two, this pair is probably the worst that I've had. I have one other female too that's, she's much more nervous. She's not a confident animal. She's never out. She's always hiding. When I go to feed her, her initial response is nervousness, and she realizes it's food, and so she'll come forward, grab the food, and then go back to hiding and eat. So she's not an animal that I would probably put into a big cage. But this girl, I think, could handle it really well. The male is much more nervous too. He tends to hide. She's always out and about. If I come in the room and she's in my living room, she is always front and center in the cage. She's pacing the cage. She wants food. She wants food. She'll actually come up like a cobra when you go to feed her, and she'll come right out and snatch the food from you. Whereas the male, I have to leave the food dead on the floor of the cage, shut the lights off, keep it quiet in the room, and then he'll eat. So they're definitely different in that regard. This one doesn't give a shit. She would eat probably sitting on the couch, to be quite honest. She loves food. So cool to see them through the bushes like that. Now she's just picked up that it's there, and she's like, ooh, what's that? So yeah, to me, hopefully you guys stuck around, because to me that's the coolest thing. Seeing them be curious about something and confident enough to approach it. Especially considering she hasn't been outside in probably 2 years. And she's handling it great. She's not nervous. You know, it's essentially a brand new situation, because the chances are of her memory of being out here is not very good. And, you know, she took to it right away. So better example, let me see, zoom out a little, of her size there, because you can see her head's down there and she's running all the way down here. If we put the hook alongside of her, I forget how big the hook is, but you can see there's still some more tail there, and she's got a lot ahead of the hook. I would say she's in the 5 foot range for sure. I think when Keith, Eric, and Owen went to Australia recently, I think they found a monstrous one of these in the wild. If I'm not mistaken, that one looked like it was about 7 feet. It was big, nice and thick too, real hardy animal, which was great to see. I'm gonna cut this short though and get her before she gets onto the open ground because I am not in the best shape of my life. So once again, the Australian water python, female, I believe to be a Papua New Guinea locality, but that is just speculation. We'll see you guys. Thank you as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.